Hey everyone, and as promised in my last video, I am back to break down every big trade that happened as well as all the moves that happened through the first week or so of the 2020 NBA free agency. In this video, I am simply just letting you guys know what happened in case you missed it. If you want to hear my further opinions on each move, go check out our special edition free agency episode of the Talkin Dirty podcast on SoundCloud. You can type in on SoundCloud Talkin Dirty minus G, add an apostrophe to find our podcast. My partner Guy and I will break down all our thoughts in each move. You can also find our podcast and all the other content we have on Instagram or Twitter at DirtyJSports on both platforms, as well as looking at our blog, www.dirtyjsports.wordpress.com. There we'll have a whole written form of all the moves that happen, as well as a link to the podcast and to this video. But now that I'm done plugging everything, we can get right into it. A quick disclaimer before we get into it as well. This video is being recorded on Monday, November 23rd. So if any big moves or trades happen since this date, then obviously it will not be in this video. All right, before we get into all the free agency signings, let's look at all what trades happened first. As you will see, some players got traded more than once too during this period. All right, the first big trade to happen on Monday was the OKC Thunder traded Dennis Schroeder to the Lakers for Danny Green and the drafting rights to the 28th pick, JD McDaniels. Schroeder was coming off an 18.9 points, 4 assists, and 3.6 rebound year in OKC, and he was a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year. Next, the Pelicans traded point guard Jrue Holiday to the Bucks. This trade was weird because it was still expanding up to a week later. To make the deal happen, the two teams had to include two other teams to make it a four-team move. To make it easy, I'm just going to list what each team gets instead of trying to explain the whole trade. The Bucks get Jrue Holiday in a 2020 second-round draft pick, which turned into Sam Morril. The Pelicans get point guard Eric Bledsoe, center Steve Adams, a 2024 and 2026 first-round pick swap with the Bucks, plus the Bucks 2025 and 2027 first-round picks. The Nuggets got the 24th draft pick, which was RJ Hampton, shooting guard, and the Thunder got point guard George Hill, small forward Darius Miller, guard Josh Gray, small forward Kenrich Williams, small forward Zaylen Cheatham, and 2023 second round pick from the Hornets and a 2024 second round pick from the Wizards. Oh, there's a lot of numbers in this. Next, let's look at arguably the biggest trade of the offseason so far, and that is the Thunder sending Chris Paul to the Suns. In the trade, OKC sent Chris Paul and Abdel Nader to the Suns in return for Kelly Oubre Jr., Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome, Jalen Leclerc, and 2022 first-round pick. Next, the Rockets started to make moves towards a total rebuild. The first move of which is sending small forward Robert Covington to the Trailblazers for small forward Trevor Ariza, a 2020 first-round pick, which turned into Isaiah Stewart, and a 2021 first-round pick. All right, the first of the trades that involve someone who already got moved this offseason is the Thunder sending newly acquired shooting guard Danny Green along with Terrence Ferguson to the 76ers for Al Horford, rights to the 2014 second-round draft pick who's currently playing over in Turkey, a 2020 second-round pick who was turned out to be Theo Maledon, and a 2025 first-round pick. The Trevor Ariza and Isaiah Stewart era in Houston was short. Once again, the Rockets are trading both newly acquired assets immediately to the Pistons for a future first-round draft pick that is not said just yet, as well as a 2021 second-round pick that is acquired from the Lakers. To keep with the theme here, the Thunder also flipped Ricky Rubio and the 28th pick, Jalen McDaniels, to the Timberwolves for a 2020 first-round pick. Alexia Pork. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's on the screen. The Nets jumped into some draft night trading in a three-team deal that had them landing Landry Shamet from the Clippers, while the Clippers are landing Luke Kennard, Justin Patton, and a 2023 second-round pick from Portland, a 2024, 25, and 26 second-round pick from Detroit. In the deal, the Pistons got Rodney McGruder and a 2020 first-round pick, which turned into Sadiq Bey. Finding out about the horrible news that Klay Thompson will miss this next upcoming season once again with a torn Achilles. The Warriors were able to make a move to try to help stop the bleeding on the team. The Warriors traded a 2021 first round pick to OKC for newly acquired Kelly Oubre Jr., who just got traded from the Suns. The Lakers sent JaVale McGee and his future second round pick to the Cavs for Jordan Bell and Alfonso McKinney. Before we move on from trades to free agency signings, just to keep in mind, there's three guards out there who still have not been moved. All three guards have all requested a trade with their organization, and they could be huge game changers for any team. Those guards are obviously James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and John Wall. Keep an eye out for all three of those moves that should be happening within the next couple of weeks, but at the time of recording, it has not happened yet. All right, let's take a move over to the free agency signings by starting off with everyone who re-signed with the team they are currently on. To start it off, Fred VanVleet has decided to stay with the Raptors. The team and the guard have signed a 4-year, $85 million deal. The next one is the Nets were able to re-sign three-point specialist Joe Harris to a 4-year, $75 million deal. The Heat were able to reach a deal with veteran point guard Goran Dragic. Dragic inked a 2 years, $37.4 million contract. DC was able to keep Davis Bertans on the club by signing him to a 5-year, $80 million contract. The Clippers were able to keep Marcus Morris, who they acquired from New York at the trade deadline last season, by re-signing him to a 4-year, $64 million deal. The Lakers kept KCP by signing him to a 3-year, $40 million deal, and the Nuggets were able to keep veteran big guy Paul Millsap on a 1-year, $10 million contract. All right, let's take a look at the next free agency signings, which I like to call same faces in new places, aka the free agents who signed with a new team. Started off right off the bat, Gordon Hayward shockingly signed with the Hornets for a 4-year, $120 million deal, despite rumors pointing to Hayward joining the Pacers, which is his hometown team. Moving on to the next one, the forward Christian Wood signed a 3-year, $41 million deal with the Rockets. Since the Rockets are about to lose a lot of pieces, added Christian Wood would be huge. The Hawks added veteran forward Danny Gallinari to a 3-year, $61.5 million contract. The Lakers were able to sign Montrezl Harrell, so the Sixth Man of the Year is moving from one LA team to another with a 2-year, $19 million deal. The Clippers were able to stop some bleeding from losing Montrezl Harrell by signing Serge Ibaka to a 2-year, $19 million deal. And on top of that, another former Raptor who's now calling LA home is Marc Gasol. The center signed a 2-year deal with the Lakers, the other LA team. Dwight Howard, who was formerly on the Lakers, is now joining the Sixers to a 1-year, $2.6 million deal. The Celtics were able to add both Tristan Thompson and Jeff Teague to the team on short contracts, and the Heat lost Jay Crowder to the Suns and Derrick Jones Jr. to the Blazers, but were able to pull in Avery Bradley and Mo Harkless. All right, before wrapping things up, we're going to do some rapid fire deals here. Starting off, Rajon Rondo signed with the Hawks, even though I predicted him go to the Clippers. Can't shoot 100%, I guess. Wesley Matthews signed with the Lakers. DJ Augustine signed with the Bucks. Dario Saric is staying in Phoenix. Derek Favors is going back to Utah. Carmelo Anthony is staying in Portland. And Pitt alum Brad Wanamaker is signing with Golden State. Now, there are still a few deals out there that we're waiting on to hear what's going to happen. The first of those is Anthony Davis is expected to re-up with the Lakers, but he has not yet, so he's waiting on that still. Brandon Ingram is still a restricted free agent, so we'll see how that goes. And then finally, Bogdan Bogdanovic was a part of a sign and trade deal with the Bucks earlier, like last week, that fell through. He is currently still a restricted free agent, and there is apparently a offer from the Hawks that the Kings are allowed to match as of now, but they have not yet. So we shall see if Bogdanovich will end up getting to the Hawks or if he's going to stay at the Kings. All right, that's all I got for you today. Once again, to hear our opinions on each of these moves, go check out our podcast, Talkin Dirty, minus the G added apostrophe on SoundCloud. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at DirtyJSports for all news updates on every sport plus new content releases. And as always, stay dirty.